If you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple of clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast.
The podcast SHXTSnGIGS. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of these men. I've talked about them before. Their content is hilarious.
I am once again, for the 10th time, restarting my health and fitness journey. I know you might think it's funny. Everyone knows I'm lactose intolerant, right? That's not news. That's not news to anyone in here.
Yeah.
I had stabbing pains in my gut. That's why I'm so tired. I didn't tell you the truth. I'm so tired today because I had stabbing pains from all the ice cream. And I'm bloated and I'm puffy today. And I'm ashamed, man.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. That's
enough now. That's enough.
And I mentioned them a while back because I watched some of their earlier videos due to the fact that there was this narrative on TikTok where black women were saying that SHXTSnGIGS, both of those young men, were the only black men that were allowed to have podcasts because they didn't talk about, you know, certain relationship issues, or they didn't discuss black women in a negative way or holding them accountable, so on and so forth. So it's all about fun. So they became black women's TikTok internet sensations. Black women are saying that they find them attractive. They love their content. They need to keep their podcast mics. Every other black man, y'all need to turn in theirs because these are only men that we want to listen to. Fast forward to today, those brothers are on the hot seat with black women.
I don't know why you guys thought James Afroad's podcast was like any different from all these other regular podcast bros. This is how I know most of you only started liking them based off the 60-second clip you see on TikTok. If you actually listen to their podcast, the whole thing, you know that there's no difference. They are all the same. All podcast bros are the same. That's where this outrage is coming from, because most people feel disappointed.
We might be witnessing the downfall of SHXTSnGIGS.
It's actually so exhausting being a black woman, because you'll just be there living your life, and in another room you'll be getting insulted and attacked for no reason. Obviously, I'm talking about the SHXTSnGIGS. Obviously, I'm talking about the James and Fuhad story that's going around. I saw the clip and I was disgusted.
The whole James and Fuhad situation is disappointing but not unexpected, right? Because black men have been walking us up to the big house for centuries. It's only more recently they have stopped waiting for us outside.
Fuhad and James. Why? Why? I don't know who their PR person is, but they went into that Andrewshulz interview completely wrong.
I don't know if you guys seen this, but there were a series of things that happened over this past week that I guess black women consider them the ops now. Shout out to the YNs, the ops. So yeah, let me show you guys what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Thank God we.
If you guys didn't hear him, and I know it skipped a little bit, he said Atlanta has the least baddies that they have seen so far. Here we go.
I ain't from here.
I'm a Texas girl. You ain't offending me none.
You see, they ain't saying Houston.
We've still got a couple days. Maybe we'll find out. But yeah. I see like 2 or 3.
Hey, but what is y'all's type though?
Bad is the type. Facts.
So what makes a girl bad?
It varies though. It matters how you own it. It can be a skinny girl who wears the fuck out of being a skinny girl. And then you've got a thick ting who just owns the shit out of being a thick ting. It's bad is bad is bad.
That's a PR answer.
A PR answer.
They're all beautiful.
So let me explain. So she said that's a PR answer. So they're trying to keep it neutral, right? So him saying that, hey, bad is bad. Typically what black women want to hear from black men in public spaces is that my preference is black women and black women only.
Black woman, does your wife have to be black?
That's my preference.
Period.
If you keep it neutral or vanilla, that means that you like white women.
Can you tap that white girl for me? My milk of magnesia.
Oh.
That's just the honest truth, okay? So if you don't blatantly say black women and black women only, any other answer is uncivilized.
Anything less would be uncivilized.
Okay? I just want to be clear. That's a little lesson. Let's continue.
Beautiful if you have.
I'm not saying everyone's beautiful. I just told you Atlanta's clapped. I never said everyone's beautiful. I just said I'm not seeing anybody's here.
You know what's funny about Atlanta, though? Atlanta has a lot of transplants. So a lot of the people that live here, like, you rarely run into people when you're out and stuff that are from Atlanta. Like, the real Atlanta people, they be in the trenches, like, off of Cascade.
We about to get jumped next time we go out.
Cleveland Ave, that's what they be.
What? We live here, man.
I don't go to Cleveland Ave. I'm not getting jumped.
And so they were kind of, you know, I guess dunking on Atlanta women. So we in the black community, or a lot of people in the black community, consider Atlanta to be the mecca for beautiful black women. And I know we have a lot of people from Atlanta, you know, you guys may say, hey, we do have a lot of beautiful women in Atlanta, but those guys, they thought otherwise. And that offended black women because they're saying, what, y'all didn't see one baddie in Atlanta? That means that you don't like black women. Okay, so that was mistake one that these brothers did. Now this was the one that put it over the mark.
What is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you might not know about this.
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that.
So y'all remember the black girlfriend effect, right? Or the black wife effect, where black women were showcasing their white husbands and how they changed from being a regular Joe Schmo white man to a glowed up or leveled up white man who somewhat mirrors a black man. You know, they would get like a nice little fade, start dressing like a black man, and they considered that a, you know, level up, or the black wife experience. They made their white men look like black men, so that makes them better. And I know that's a rather contentious point for me saying that, but for what I noticed, that's what happened. And you guys, you seen it. They just look like they made them try and, you know, mirror black men. That's just my opinion. You guys can feel otherwise. However, black women took offense to what's about to happen after this. Here we go.
I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow
step,
a beard because there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of.
So, if you guys don't know who that is Andrewshulz. He is Andrewshulz from the Brilliant Idiots podcast that he does with Charlemagne the God, and from this podcast, Flagrant. If you're unfamiliar with this comedy skills, this is pretty much what he does. He does a lot of jokes about race. I mean, and he's good at what he does.
Trump versus Kamala, the Thrilly and Philly, Orange versus the New Black, the felon and the melanin. This debate had it all.
So the issue that black women had with the Shits and Gigs guys is the fact that they laughed at Andrew's jokes by saying that the reason why white men shave their heads is because they lose it from being with the black woman. Because the stereotypical narrative about black women is that black women are, you know, combative, uncooperative, so on and so forth. And that's why I put so much emphasis to black women to clean up your ethnic image, because everybody views you as such. And this is one of the main reasons why. It's the same thing that you guys push on black men from us being deadbeat dads. So you see how that feels? There's so many comedians that use this narrative of the deadbeat black dad syndrome.
What does milk and a black dad have in common?
Milk and a black dad.
Yep.
Can't tell you.
They're both still at the store.
I'm a black father. Of course I'm going to go get some milk.
Oh, ain't no milk.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
California has become the first state in the country to enact ebony alerts to help find missing black children. And I'll save you some time, they're not with their fathers. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby. Many doctors are saying that they have a hard time convincing their black patients to agree to take the vaccine. Well, maybe they should try telling them it makes you immune from paying child support.
And it's taken us years, rather decades, to try and get this stigma removed from our ethnic image. So this is what you guys are experiencing. So instead of being mad at Andrewshulz, they're mad at the Shits and Gigs guys because they didn't push back, even though this is a comedic podcast.
That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective. Yeah. Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite?
Bait. That's bait.
That's bait.
Here we go.
We love them all.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We love them all.
Yeah.
That means
Okay. Once again, a very contrarian, very vanilla, neutral response. We love them all. So, the reason why black women are upset is I think black women are under the impression that the Shits and Gigs podcast is a black podcast. It is not. Just because you have two black men running it, that does not mean their predominant audience is black people. They appeal to everybody. So for them saying that, hey, we love all women and not specifically saying black women are my preference, that offended black women because they've already placed stock into these two young men because they have deemed them the desirable ones on social media. So for them to be neutral in their response by saying we like them all and not saying black women in particular, that makes them the bad guys. Where black women fail in this narrative is now they're on TikTok saying we're canceling them, I'm unfollowing them. But if you look at the Shits and Gigs podcast and their follower count, nothing has really changed because they appeal to everybody. It's the same thing that happened with Fresh and Fit when they said that foolery about black women, right? Black people were under the impression that Fresh and Fit, because you have two black presenting young men, that means that they're a black podcast. So if they remove their support, then their podcast is going to fail. Not knowing that those two gentlemen and these two gentlemen have an audience of all races. So black people only represent 14% of the population. So extrapolate that out to social media. If black women remove their support from Shits and Gigs, nothing will change because they are not a predominantly black podcast. And that's what black women have to understand. They're not trying to, dunk on black women by saying we love them all. They're just trying to make sure that they show love to all of their supporters. That's all it is. That doesn't mean that they hate black women. That doesn't mean that they just love white women. Those young men have dated all races of women. Okay? And I don't know if anybody has explained this to the conglomerate of black women that are getting upset at their responses. This is not a black podcast.
White.
Who gets that means white. No.
So he said, when they said the preference, he said that means white. Let's continue. But that's how black women hear it.
Oh, translation.
Kendrick fans, get him! We love them all.
That's royal English.
So, black women, if you have an issue with these British men saying they prefer all black or all women, then you guys need to support this young man. You guys know who John Boyega is? It's a young man that played in Star Wars? Starred in the Star Wars movie. He's done multiple other videos since then. But this was his interview on The Breakfast Club. And also, I got an interesting clip from Charlemagne the God because he's quote unquote pro-black in these spaces, but there's always contradictions with these types of men. And like I said, I got 2 of Charlamagne's books up here, sitting right up here, right? So I know his story. And that's why this clip is so telling. But if you need somebody to say, hey, I prefer black women that is in a predominantly, entertainment space, here's your guy.
You married?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
All right, Charlamagne.
I've been with the same woman for 24 years.
I think that's fantastic. She black?
Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Dude, I absolutely
no, because I've heard you speak.
disagree.
I've heard you speak before about your blackness and stuff. So I thought you was one of the ones that were gonna sacrifice your loins to continue in this race. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just check in. Well, yeah, he said that shit, didn't he? He said it. So I'm like,
explain that now. What happened?
No, you speak about your blackness quite a lot, and,
Yes.
and then obviously I've seen your interview. So I'm like, let me just check that.
Make sure he's.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, that's real though.
Yeah.
I judge brothers like that too.
I'm not judging. I mean, anyone can do what they need to do, but I feel like when you speak in a certain way,
black men got to be with black women.
Yeah. When you spoke.
Okay, so he's just, alluding to the fact that Charlamagne speaks very pro-black. He believes that black women should be with black men should be with black women. Keep that in mind. And that's what John Boyega is talking about. So here we go.
You've spoken in that way.
Yes.
I'm like, let me just check my man's devoted at home.
I'm with you. People that talk so black, but then they sleep white, I'm like, ugh. I don't.
Okay. People that talk so black and then sleep white, he's like, ugh, that's nasty. Charlamagne just said that. Listen to this.
I have a particular choice when it comes to women race-wise. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow. I like pink pussy. That's number one. But I do love my Nubian white queens. I love a white woman. It ain't nothing like hitting a white woman from the back and watching your black dick go into that pink pussy. And that white flesh. It ain't nothing like slapping a white girl's ass and leaving red marks on that shit. It's just nothing like it. I like white girls too. I don't like white hip hop girls. I don't like white girls that know the album cuts off a fucking Killer Mike album. I like white girls that listen to Katy Perry and Carly Rae Jepsen and Icona Pop and Imagine Dragons. I like white girls that listen to Z100. I like white girls. Okay? That's what I like. I like lily white girls. I like pure white girls that smell like heaven and lemon pledge.
You co-signing like a black of that.
I'm with them. Dude, listen, I've been on my Nubian white queen kick. I love white women. I love hanging.
Nubian white queen.
Out with white women. I love getting drunk with white women. I love having conversations with white women. And it don't have nothing to do with having something against the sisters. I love the sisters. You know what I'm saying? The mother of my child is a black woman, and she's just the love of my life. Will always be the love of my life. My mother is a black woman. My grandmother was a black woman. Black women have empowered me throughout my life. But Martin Luther King had a dream. And that dream was one day that he wanted to live in a country where men were not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And I love the content of a lot of these white women's character. Okay? Martin Luther King, segregation was erased so we could go to the same school as white people, sit in the same restaurants as white people, and to have sex with white women.
That sounds like Martin Luther King's white woman speech, didn't it? He said all that. Oh my God, the black community.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Well, have you ever dated a white woman?
Yeah, I have once. I dated one once. How did that go? When I was younger. Yeah, it was alright, but we were just chilling. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing serious like that. So, but naturally, you know.
Could you bring a stormtrooper home?
Stormtrooper. I've said it openly. It's just a preference. Like I like my women black. You know, and I feel just separate from, you know, a political statement or anything like that. It's just they fine as hell. They, you know, melanin levels got to be over 75%. You know what I mean? Thickness got to be there. Style got to be there. We got to laugh at the same jokes. We got to bump to the same music. It's just got to be a flow.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
And you can't have conversations about white supremacy tearing apart black families, but you're not even trying to create your own.
I'm trying to have them conversations where I can talk my shit behind closed doors. Like I'm trying to say, woman, I don't. And she's like, yeah, baby, yeah, you right. That's what I need. You know what I mean? I need her to understand a black man's anger, frustration. I need her to understand when, you know, certain dudes walk into the room and the energy ain't right, and she's just like, calm down, baby, like, chill. I need that. I need me a black
queen,
woman.
man. I'm with you, King. You ain't got to tell me.
Walk down, looking white, money, low what I got on. This is low what I got on.
Caught y'all. You thought you were safe. Dr. Umar always watching. I caught each and every one of your 2 eyes waiting on some sweet white cheeks. I saw it. Dr. Umar saw it. Don't let it happen again. But yeah, so there's a strong contradiction in the black community, man. I don't understand how a black man such as Charlamagne the God can spend so many years having sex with white women, but now that's all forgiven because he married a black woman. That's absolutely insane. It's like y'all don't have the same energy for black men who push this whole pro-black type stuff, and then you got him, Charlamagne, saying some foolery like that. That's nuts. But it is what it is, man. If they like you, they like you. If you pander to them, they will accept you. But the overarching point, you know, for this video is to help black women understand, like, you have black men that support y'all. My preference is black women. Okay? And I don't have a problem with saying that. But I done been to 50 different countries. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, dealt with, to put it rather lightly, multiple different women of many, different backgrounds. Okay? But yeah, my preference is black women, and it's always been black women. The majority of black men's preferences are black women. It has nothing to do with black women's looks. Black women, in my opinion, are the most beautiful women on the planet. And I'm not just talking about American black women, Brazil, the continent, everywhere. Black women are gorgeous, come in all shapes, sizes, colors, whatever. It is what it is. But that's just my preference. Has nothing to do with y'all looks, but everything to do with the attitude and how you guys are perceived in the public eye. And the way that you guys are responding to this Shits and Gigs video proves that point. So you need to take a step back, understand that they were on a comedic platform. That is Andrewshulz stick. That's what he does. Puts people in uncomfortable situations, bait them, and I think they answered the question correctly, because that is not necessarily a black platform just because you have two young black men running it, okay? Just like you have black women that have their own platforms and they express their love for white men. That's like the same thing. You'll be like, man, how are these black women expressing their love and, and admiration for white men, but they're black? Y'all seem to understand that. But when it comes to these young gentlemen who didn't say anything remotely disrespectful towards black women, now y'all upset. No. So there's no need to unfollow those young men. They're going to continue winning, doing their little city tours, and you guys are going to show up in droves. So go ahead and hit that follow button once again, because that outrage is only going to last for a couple of minutes, and then you're going to be back to laughing at their content and lusting over these young men. So shouts out to them. I think they did an amazing job. Everybody has preferences. Their preferences seem to be all women who are beautiful, and that's okay. Okay, so if you guys want to marry these young men, make sure you're better or compete so you can get in their good graces, so they'll be able to choose you for marriage when they're ready to get married. If not, then you got to shut up and just enjoy the show. Okay? There it is.
Before we get into today's episode, quick PSA, quick acknowledgement. So, if you know, you know. If you don't, that's fine. But we just wanted to address something that's happening at the minute. This past weekend, there's been a couple clips going around from when we did a session on the Flagrant podcast while we were on our US tour. And yeah, there were a few jokes made that were incredibly inappropriate. One specifically pertaining to black women. And in the clip, Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a frankly racist joke. And we were laughing at it. And to give, there's first of all, before we get into like specifics or anything like that, obviously there's just literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
Agreed.
And fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, fight or flight is a real thing, and it's so not easy to say, but when you're in those situations, you look at it through a lens of like, bro, if it was me, I promise you I'll stand up, I'll kick them cameras down, I would smack homeboy in the face, I would say this, I'll do that. But when you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move on.
Bro, move on is the fucking word, bro. All you want to do is fucking move on. Just move on to the next thing. Just move on to the next thing.
There's
and
so
like
many
we had
times.
to say a few times, bro, just move on.
Just move
on.
So many different topics. We were like, move on. And it's not even like about pity laughs or anything, but we just wanted to
get out of that situation.
Literally get out of that situation, keep the ball rolling. And we thought it was going to be more of like a bros chat, but it ended up being something that's
ended up being something that's like really, really hurt people that look to us for support and look to us to feel protected. And protected is the main thing that I wanted to discuss, is that it is our duty to protect you guys.
Facts.
And it is definitely not cool to be in that situation. And again, not be the ones to stand up and kick the cameras down. And we fucked it on that occasion.
We did.
It's not going to happen again. And it's about being human. It's about realizing that you don't know what you're prepared for. You don't know how to prepare for something
you don't know
that you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And once it's happened one time, you're like, fuck, all right.
You learn from your mistakes, and that's literally
You
learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, we fucked it, and we're sorry.
We definitely do apologize.
It's, for me, like, it's one of them ones where you don't realize that, like, for one, when you're part of a community, you don't realize that you can hurt your own community.
Especially
when you're not, when unintentionally.
Unintentionally, for real.
And also on top of that, it was so crazy that like the narrative that's been spun about how we feel about our community, the irony of the fact that whilst the whole reason we're in that country was to just show how much we love our community and show how much we love our supporters and how much time we spent at the shows and just like getting to know people and just like understanding our community better and just like making friends and making bonds and showing love, and they're showing love. And this whole 6-week trip was just about showing how much we love our community and how much our community show out for us. And then to have that exact same trip be the reason that we're having to have this conversation now. But at the end of the day, mistakes make you a better person.
Mistakes do make you a better person.
You're not born a perfect person. And yeah, we don't condone, we don't appease that behavior, we don't rate it. And we don't want you guys to think that we were sat in that room rating what's going on.
We hold our hands up, we apologize, you learn from your mistakes, and we hope we don't let our community down again, because ultimately we do this for you guys. Like,
you guys are all we have, man.
You guys are literally all we have. You guys have taken us to this level, and we don't want to let you guys down going forward and anymore. So, you know.